me a prayer. Allah the Almighty teaches me a prayer. In other words, by revelation he states, Rabbi la tazarni fardan wa anta khairul warisin, that do not leave me alone and form one community. In another place, Allah the Almighty promises, Yatika min kulli fajjin amin, that the wealth and facilities required for guests will be provided by Allah Himself. They will come to you from every path. The Promised Messiah ﷺ states that, now ponder, when this prophecy was published, or when people were informed about this prophecy, did anybody come here at that time? I swear by God that nobody even knew me. In an entire year, perhaps 1 or 2 letters were received, or 1 or 2 guests came, and sometimes this did not even happen. The Promised Messiah ﷺ states further that this increase in numbers, the righteous people arriving and initiating and pledging allegiance to me, all of these things are great signs that come to pass on a daily basis. Hazur says that we witness this sign of Allah today as well. Despite all the opposition, despite the schemes of those who have defected from Ahmadiyyat, who left Ahmadiyyat out of worldly greed, with the grace of Almighty Allah, in my daily mail and letters, without exception, at times in dozens, and at times in hundreds, and sometimes even in thousands, I read the good news of those initiating or pledging allegiance. Bed forms are sent. Sometimes the incidents of initiation are so faith-inspiring that no one apart from Allah the Almighty could have produced this state in the people's hearts, which is the condition of the sentiments of these new converts. In Europe, in America, I sometimes meet these new converts. When I ask them how they converted to Ahmadiyyat, so they say they were initially drawn to Islam by a non-Ahmadi Muslim friend, or they were just drawn towards Islam generally. So they contacted a non-Ahmadi Muslim and accepted Islam. However, disbelief and dissatisfaction still remain within them. Then Allah's grace touched them, and perchance they were introduced to Ahmadiyyat. So they were left with no option whatsoever but to accept this true Islam and to enter its fold, so that they could attain tranquility and satisfaction of the heart. In the same way, thousands and hundreds of thousands of the Muslims, because of their good nature, when they search for the truth, then the reality dawns upon them. They immediately accept Ahmadiyyat. In particular, when Muslims accept Ahmadiyyat, they then understand what true Islam is. Because of their families and environment, they often pass through extreme difficulty. At times, they endure great pain and suffering. However, with the grace of Almighty Allah, they nonetheless remain firm and steadfast at all times. They regularly write for prayers to sustain this steadfastness. They display this steadfastness because once they have identified the truth, they want to avoid moving away from the reality and becoming sinners. They see the state of their scholars and the clergy, that these people do not practice what they preach. Their intellectual and educational state does not behove them to respond to the allegations raised by other followers of other religions. In fact, defending the faith aside, at times they display an appeasing attitude, or they say there is no need to argue or discuss things with them, and to do so is un-Islamic. In particular, those living in Arab countries, Many of them have now realized, that is, those who are in contact with MTA, regardless of whether they have accepted Ahmadiyyat or not. Many of them have realized that the strong rebuttals and effective replies provided by the Ahmadi scholars